Catherine, good to have you. Let's talk about what I teased with, which is that most of these mass shootings, most of the gunmen in these mass shootings either get arrested in a standoff, or they die by suicide, or they get killed by cops. Doesn't usually turn into a manhunt. Walk me through the study that you've co-authored on this.
So what we would refer to them as active shooter situations as opposed to mass shootings, since there are so many more mass shootings in the United States when you talk about volumes of numbers. But the FBI's research that you see there is, we released it after we looked at 14 years of research from Columbine forward and found a couple of kind of fascinating tidbits, including the fact that maybe as much as 30 to 40% of the individuals seek to commit suicide or do commit suicide or suicide by cop, which means very few of them leave the scene. In our initial research, in fact, there were I believe six individuals who had not been accounted for and were still on the run. So that's a very small number out of 160.
Is there any common ground between the ones that run?
I think it's just a question of planning and opportunity. I think that most of the time what we see is that individuals plan and they do all kinds of planning for what they're going to do until they pull the trigger. And a lot of times they don't plan for afterwards. And many times that's because they realize they're taking their life away. They're killing family members. 10% of them probably kill family members, was our original research shows. So they don't really plan on what they're going to do afterwards. And very rarely do we have somebody who takes off with a full plan, like we're seeing right now, to maybe get away with it and have nobody ever find him again and hold him accountable.
I mean, if you're going to run away, doing so in Maine makes it even more difficult to be found because it is so rural. Can you explain? Yes. Can you explain how the FBI, how local law enforcement, how everybody's going to go about trying to find this guy?
Sure, of course, and we've heard from a lot of experts in that, but I can tell you, I just got off the phone with Canadian officials, and they've got a very porous border. You can walk over the border, and there's a lot of trees. So really you're going to have to use a whole bunch of tools in order to look for like heat sensitive tools. So you can see if there's somebody down on the ground, and those you'd have to use overhead with drones or with helicopters or planes. And you're also going to recognize that you're not going to do a lot of hunting in the darkness, because darkness is not our friend. And as our days get shorter, our time is very limited to try to find him. And the longer it goes, the further away he can be. And we also know he left a car at a boat dock. He could be downriver. He could be upriver.
Catherine, what about what we know about his past? Military, he's a vet, the way he's holding a gun. What does that tell you about what kind of suspect he now is?
Well, I mean, that was the thing that startled me last night when the photo was released, he was clearly holding it like anybody who, obviously 20 years in the FBI, I'm trained in using those kinds of weapons and have used them a lot in practice. Definitely, he was holding that weapon in a way that made it clear that he's comfortable holding it, and he's shot it before. He's got it nice tucked up underneath his arm just the right way. And in addition to that, with that scope on the top, that puts law enforcement who's driving down the road in an area where he might be at quite a disadvantage, as well as, the citizens in general. But I think his goal, obviously, right now seems to be to disappear. So I don't think he's looking to cause further trouble. I think he's looking to stay away. And I think that's the one good part in this.
There's a shelter-in-place order for the area. How long can that shelter-in-place order last? And why is it necessary to put those residents under it at the moment?
Yeah, that's a great question, because this is part of the issue. We have a lot of shootings in the United States, as you know, 20,000 homicides by firearms last year alone. But we don't lock down a whole city because we're looking for a person. But we do in these rare circumstances when we have a shooter on the run in a very high-profile case. And we think we have an opportunity to inform the public and have them maybe watch for him, but also not be a vulnerable just opportunity for him. Say, for instance, someone in a car. If this guy is on the side of a road in the woods and he decides that he needs to abandon his vehicle or he's on foot, he may stop a car, kill somebody, and we've seen that happen, of course, before. So a lockdown, that's the value of a lockdown. Instead of having people moving where law enforcement are worried about who is moving, it's better to ask people to just stand still for a while. It's kind of like when we do run, hide, fight, and we say, you know, right now, if you're in a safe place, just hide there until we find out who our bad guy is.